And what's your name, sir?
My name's Ben Johnson with Obsidian Security.
Obsidian Security, that sounds kind of like an evil genius kind of a name. That sounds great. Let's spell it for the people on the podcast. OBSIDIAN security.com.
Correct.
Excellent. Now, what do you guys do?
So we're actually really early, so we're not really telling people what we do.
All right.
We announced so that people would know we exist. We're actually in Southern California, in Newport Beach, so we're actually a little different that we're not in Silicon Valley.
Newport Beach, that's fancy.
It is fancy.
Excellent.
But we're focused on hybrid cloud, which means a lot of things to a lot of people.
All right.
But essentially, corporations now have a mix of on-premise, public cloud, private cloud, and security teams don't really have a consistent experience in defending all of those.
Right.
So that's a premise. We're also building in artificial intelligence from the beginning, which I know everyone says they're doing AI or ML,
right.
Machine learning. We're going to make sure we really advance those fields and not just take off-the-shelf libraries. Beyond that, we're not really talking a whole lot about what we're doing.
Okay, now that's fair enough, and I have the smaller brain in this operation, but when I heard the word library, we've heard that term a lot, haven't we, Dorothy?
We have.
People go to libraries for open source, they go to libraries for security codes. Now I'm intrigued that you're not going to be using that.
So code reuse and using libraries is a great thing. But the challenge is, especially with something like machine learning, if you're using a more default generic approach, that's better than nothing.
Right.
But it's not really optimized for your product, your situation, your customer environment.
Now, let's talk about time to market, because the argument is I'm using libraries, using open source because I got to get that thing up and running and get it to market, and I'll fix it later. If there's an attack, that's okay, we'll fix it later. So what's your take on that part of it? Because it does slow down time to market for something, right?
Yeah, everything is really about acceleration for an entrepreneur. How fast can you get to market? How fast can you grow your team? We're really focused on hiring right now, so product and hiring, because we need those people to build quality product. We raised money in June, $9.5 million, so that we can hire plenty of people on the data science and engineering side.
Yeah.
But you're right that when you start to step back and build things yourself, it might slow things down. So it is that blend of using open source technologies, open source code, and proprietary, IP and code.
Now, Dorothy, since your brain's bigger, does this sound like a game changer?
It does indeed. So I'm thinking aggregated services, internal and external. So to what extent would you follow the life cycle of all this rich data on behalf of your clients to the cloud? And if I'm the CISO of a Midwestern company in the industrial space, am I able to track if I have a dashboard on my desktop or on my tablet or iPad, or are you my outsourced CISO?
Sure. So we're really focused on building a product where security teams themselves can use it. However, we do realize that a lot of security teams or IT organizations like to outsource to a managed security provider, or they call in incident responders. So we want to make sure that we play nice with those organizations, those channels. The challenge with, I think, a lot of the buyer side right now is there's so much. I mean, you see it here at Black Hat.
Yeah.
There's so much.
So much.
And a lot of the products are more like features. And I don't mean to belittle any company, but you start making some progress, you raise a little bit of money. It probably in the grand scheme of things should be a feature in a larger suite or a larger...
Right.
We really need to have more entrepreneurs, more startups that are trying to take on a bigger part of the security stack, and that's what we're trying to do.
So to boil it down in a simple term, could you say it's a lot of these things are like an individual app that does that one thing and does it very well, but it's not integrated into the big picture. Is that a way to look at it?
Yeah, so security teams sometimes have 50 products.
That's right.
Just for security.
Right.
And they need more of a consistent view. They need the ability to detect bad. They need the ability to do incident response and investigate when something looks bad. They need to be able to clean up, but they want to do it with as few basically user interface components or as few products as possible. And so we need, as an industry, to get back to that point where it's more consolidation, and right now it's proliferation.
Interesting.
That's great. We need end-to-end consolidation and workflow, which leads to my next question. Will your new product include a workflow tool?
So we absolutely are taking the customer-centric design approach, where we're looking at how are people going to use it, how are they going to interact, who are the personas, all of that design thinking up front. And then we want to make it yes so that customers can absolutely, when they use our product for visualization or for visibility, or whether they're getting an alert from us, there's a nice process of like how do you essentially go from start to finish.
Great.
Very intriguing. This could be kind of a SecurityGuideTV.com exclusive. A little bit.
Indeed.
All right. Tell me what keeps you up at night. I know this is going to be a good answer.
What keeps me up at night?
What do you worry about?
I don't know. We have a really strong team. We have great backers. The industry as a whole, I think, is starting to turn the tide. However, for example, I just had conversations with CISOs who said, if 5 years ago you told me commodity first of all, ransomware wasn't as big of a thing,
right.
but if you told me commodity ransomware would have nation state level sophistication built in, like WannaCry or some of these recent attacks, they said it would just, how do you even defend against that? So I think there's that challenge. I think as companies move to the cloud and proliferate accounts that users have, they proliferate IoT devices and that kind of thing, the surface area is just expanding,
right,
while more and more attackers are jumping into this game. And so it's a bigger surface area to attack and more attackers. We got to do something different.
Excellent. Ben Johnson, say your website for me again.
ObsidianSecurity.com.
Obsidian Security. I love the name. Thanks for coming on SecurityGuideTV.com at Black Hat 2017. We look forward to your launch.
My pleasure.
Official
Thank
release.
you for
Thanks
having
again.
me. Cheers.
All right, everybody, stand by for the next interview. We're about 5 minutes apart, so we're going to go off the air and back on the air to save streaming bandwidth. Kind of have a low bandwidth here at Black Hat for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. We'll be back in a minute. Thanks.